Hello and welcome back to Lab. This is the Empathy Lab podcast, and I am your host, Selena, and it is Sunday, February 22nd. We are in so many things. Saturn and Neptune have made a conjunction on Friday. In Aries, if you follow Chani and friends, you probably are aware that systems and whatnot have toppled during times like this. She's got a whole timeline on there. Go check it out. Again, not paid to do this, just supporting, standing with my sisters, supporting other creatives. I mean, obviously she's a huge creative, but anyway, it's been the Olympics, Milano Cortana. Yes. And if you're like me, or maybe you're not like me, but I hearken you might be into what I say, maybe you've been following the Olympics. Hockey, curling, mountaineering, big air. For me as an anthropologist, and those of you that have known me for a long time, and maybe those of you are just meeting me, I was a big athlete when I was much younger, an elite athlete. And when we look at what I've been looking at, conflict, communication, interpersonal energies in between those things, the Olympics, sporting, has been like my on the TV lab. Just curling. I love curling. And some of you are like, what? Yeah, strategic, amazing game. Get into it, folks. I'm telling you. It is, you see the circles, you see the tangles, you see the straight lines, you see the structural bypassing, all kinds of things. I'm not even going to touch the Canadian men's game that went tangled into a straight circle, and they were ready to just have that argument. I just saw that argument circle, and because you've been following me for a long time, go back and look at that interaction, and you'll see it's a circle into a straight line that we're going to talk about today. But because we talked about the straight line before, but today we're going to talk about the false straight line. Okay. And when we were in grade school and we're taught geometry, we're taught that the shortest distance between 2 points is a straight line. If I want to go from point A to point B, so point A being me, point B being you, and you're listening, imagine you're holding a string here between me and you, I could just draw a straight line, or you can imagine a straight line. Direct, efficient, linear. But I'm an anthropologist and an organizational architect. I've been watching curling this morning, so I was kind of getting a bit hyped. So even just tripping on words this morning, but it's me, it's real. I'm not going to pretend to be something that I'm not. Anyway, I'm telling you right now, inside a relationship, inside a team, inside a disagreement, the straight line is often the lie. And today, I pause for emphasis. You like that, right? Because everyone's like, what the fuck? Sorry, folks. Again, cussing will happen. What do you mean a straight line is a lie? A straight line, point A to point B, I'm getting right to, that has to be the truth. Is it though? Is it? Are you always on a truth vibe or journey when you're in a straight line? So my thesis, as you know, because you know I'm doing one of those, or another one of those, it's called the geometry of disagreement. And I track the shapes of conflict. And the most dangerous shape actually isn't the explosion. And we'll talk about that because I've been talking about the shapes over the last couple episodes. It's not the messy scribble of a tangle. Okay, those are actually really easy to get in and out of. It's not the circle of repetition and going around and around and around. The most dangerous shape is a perfectly flat line of silence. I'll put it to you like this. And we talked about it last week in some of our linguistic blockers. The straight line, it's actually the, I'm fine. Okay, whatever. Yeah, if you like it, I love it. It's the, yeah, we're on track to finish the project. It's the nod in the meeting when you actually want to vomit. Okay? The straight line looks like peace. It looks like an agreement. Structurally, though, it's a bypass. We are bypassing the terrain of conflict just to get to the destination of done. It's like when you're on the highway and like Waze, or maybe we're not using Waze right now because, Google Maps or whatever, is like exit here for 14 less minutes of traffic, right? It's because you just want to get to the destination of done, but home, work, IGA, Provigo, wherever you're going. Those are grocery stores in Canada, by the way, folks. It's just the doneness. But when we look at it in terms of like conflict, when we look at it in terms of how we communicate with each other, remember way back in the beginning, I talked about the 3 layers of conversation, the 3 layers of communication. There's the practical layer, the social layer, and the emotional layer. So when we look at the straight line, and now you know the layers, what do you think happens to those layers when the straight line just drives right through them? And what do you think happens when you build a heavy structure on a hollow foundation? It collapses. So today, folks, I want to ask you, where are you drawing a straight line just to end the conversation? When you could be walking, listen to me very carefully, when you could be walking the curve. I didn't say circle. I said when you could be walking the curve. So let's get into the geometry today, right? Because I know everyone's waiting to hear about how they straight line it, and someone's probably already arguing with me. And you know what? It's Sunday. I'm actually recording this in like the future Sunday. So maybe the future present. But let's get into the geometry. So we're going to look at the anthology or the well, it could be the anthology of bypassing for sure. The anthropology of bypassing. So the structure, right? The perfect form that when it's not trying to bypass is perfect, amazing, and, embodying for us. But when we're not embodying, we're actually bypassing or we're extracting. So why do we love the straight line? Well, our nervous system craves resolution. Everyone's out here, your nervous system jumping up, and the somatic and everything. And all these things have roots and bearing and help. And I'm not talking against this because our nervous system just craves a resolution. Our brains are built to keep us safe, right? We want to do other things where we're like, hey, nope, whoop, yellow light, red light, green light. What we want is we want the green status. We want the alignment. Big air quotes, alignment, okay? Now in my research, I see this every day. When I'm in corporate areas, I hear terms like, are we aligned? Can we get aligned on this? Let's align ourselves to what is being presented or said. And oftentimes people are nodding, yes, we're aligned. Of course we're aligned. But think about building a road. If there is a mountain in the way, the conflict, you have 2 choices. You can build a winding road over the mountain. It takes time. It's curvy. It's inefficient. But it gets you there. Or, like a lot of us, you can just pretend that the mountain isn't there and draw a line on a map right through it. I think we were experiencing this at one point, folks. Some folks wanted to draw lines all over the place and change where lines are and move lines of geography all around and potentially make places the 51st state. Just putting that out there. Now, if we were to draw a straight line, what we're doing, and you can't just pretend the mountain isn't there, right? And draw a line on the map right through it. Although some people like to do this. The false straight line is when we prioritize the speed of a resolution over the reality of the terrain. I'm going to say that again. The false straight line, and I keep repeating myself because I talked about the straight line a few episodes ago. So go back, listen to that, and come back here. Is when we prioritize the speed of a resolution over the reality of the terrain. Now, I call this the efficiency trap because in the West, we want to be efficient, right? Western corporate culture, and let's be honest, Western parenting, we idolize efficiency. I don't know when that happened, but I'm pretty sure in my research, I'm going to be able to get pretty close to figuring out somewhat of an answer for you on this, okay? Now, we want efficiency. We idolize efficiency. We want the conflict, the mess, the thing over now. Just look at how we treat things. For example, just say sorry to your brother. Just sign right there. Just sign right there. We'll work it out after. Just sign right there. What do you mean work it out after? What do you mean just say sorry to my brother? Do you know what my brother did? It's like, and that, just say sorry to your brother. Sign right there. Oh, you're fine. You're fine. Don't cry. Don't cry. It's okay. Those are straight lines. Those are straight lines. That's the definition of an efficiency trap. We're wanting to speed up and get the thing over, the thing that's making us uncomfortable and sweaty and jangling up our nervous system. We want it over. So we just bypass. The human condition isn't linear, guys. It really isn't. As much as people try to tell you so, the human condition, humans, what we are, isn't linear. It is non-Euclidean. We curve, we loop, we spiral. And when you force, look at the Fibonacci sequence. However, when you force a straight line into a spiraling motion, you aren't actually resolving the conflict. You're compressing it. And compressed energy doesn't disappear. It just waits. Nothing is ever created or destroyed. We went to school, we learned that. Or we heard that if we didn't have access to everyday education. What do you think happens with compressed energy? It's just sitting there waiting. And in my thesis, in my work, that I put out here on a podcast for you all to listen to, in the lab, we call it Deferred Collapse. You draw a straight line today. Yeah, I agree. But, and also, because you didn't actually negotiate the terrain, the conflict is still there, festering underground, growing, moving, adapting, shifting, changing, and 3, 4, 5 months later, boom. What we say in Trinidad, pure bacchanal. The project fails, the relationship erupts or hits a wall. An Olympic skier, was he a skier? Comes out and says, I want to say sorry to someone who I really love because they cheated on her. If that isn't a straight line up in fucking lights, folks, I don't know what is. And I'm not saying anything. I don't know this person. I just saw what he said. I think after winning a medal, when I think someone else on his team won gold, he got silver. I don't know. Again, for me, the Olympics, just all the things happening, fantastic for lab work. When energy festers and it's sitting there and waiting, and then it explodes, compressed, your straight line snaps. And then what do you have? Now I'm going to take it out of the abstract because I've been drawing abstract paintings in your mind about this to give you an idea of the terrain that we're negotiating. I'm going to bring it right into, like, as I usually do, I give you the five magic examples of how this is happening in your life. But I'm going to bring it into your workplace. I'm going to bring it into your Teams or your Slack channel, your WhatsApp chats. And I'm going to bring this to your kitchen because I want you to understand and embody and learn how we spot the false straight line. And I'm going to give you 5 shapes of structural bypassing that you're probably, like all of us, me included, okay? I am never, ever one that's like, I'm seeing everybody do this and I'm not doing this. I know we do this because I have done this. We are humans who are being, and we're not linear. So here are the 5 shapes of structural bypassing. Number 1, the parking lot. All right, the parking lot. The parking lot can be put anywhere, right? And I'm going to keep it straight. I'm going to keep it brief. It's a corporate bypass. You're in a meeting. A real structural concern is raised. People leader says, let's park that. Let's circle back. Let's put a pin in it. I said this, I think, last week. So everything with me is layered, right? I'm fertilizing you week by week. Now, when your people leader or your AVP or whoever says that, or maybe you're saying that, it sounds like organization. It sounds like, okay, we're going to put it on the agenda. We're going to come back to it, I'm A, B, C, D, E, F, G. But what it is actually a graveyard. It's a way to silence a curve without admitting you have no plan to fix it at all. Just look in the media. You can see the parking lot happening A lot. Number two, the wellness band-aid. And I say this with a smile because those of you that have known me for a long time knew where I was and who I was in the wellness regime and the Lolays and the Lululemons and the touring and the DJing and the whole 9 yards. And I call this the wellness band-aid because little did anybody know all of that was a lot of fodder for what I'm creating or what is being channeled out of me right now. That's not saying that I'm out here observing everything. Don't think like, oh, when Selena comes up on the scene, I'm going to end up on a broadcast or in a thesis. Nothing like that. The wellness band-aid is the systemic bypass. This is when corporation, HR, whoever, when they offer a meditation app to a team that's chronically understaffed. Teams are burning out. Oh, here's free pizza on Friday. Here's a meditation app you guys can use. Here's another thing that I'm pushing far away from you, from me, so that I don't have to deal with what's going on. It's when you try to just put a band-aid on a situation that actually requires stitches and possibly a visit to the ER. You're trying to solve a capacity issue, a structural capacity issue, with a social layer perk. That's the false exit. Remember I said there are 3 layers of communication, 3 layers of conversation: the practical, the social, and the emotional. If I'm talking to you about something emotional and you give me a social, like, oh, okay, well, it's not that bad. You know what? I saw this app and I did this class and the Pilates and the breathing and the whole that's not helping me. You're band-aiding me right now, or the person that you're with. It's a social layer perk. It's a false exit. Just planting seeds here, guys. Number 3. I'm pretty sure we do this all the time because we think we're taking the higher ground. We actually think we're doing what Michelle Obama said: when they go low, we go high. Now, she actually explained exactly what she meant on Stephen Colbert, I think, last week or the week before. This is the agree to disagree. Let's agree to disagree. This is what we call the relational bypass in the lab. And we see this so much here. The relational bypass is when you're declaring a truce without finding a synthesis. So, okay, let's agree to disagree. You're uncomfortable. You don't want to go into this topic anymore. So you're going to say, I'm going to agree to disagree with you, because you can't find anything to synthesize there. You don't want to. You don't want to go into that. Now, this isn't tolerance. It's actually a wall. It's not saying, okay, I'm holding your boundary as you're holding mine, and we can just hold each other's boundaries and not dissolve them. That is not what is happening when we agree to disagree. It's a wall. You've now built a wall quite quickly, and it creates a permanent no-fly zone in the relationship, whether it's with your people leaders, your friends, your homies, whomever you're on the block with, you outside with. Once you say, all right, let's agree to disagree, you've built a wall. There's no intimacy that can go there. Nothing can go there, because you have decided, my wall's up. It ain't coming down today. That's okay. We all have done this. I've done this. Again, I'm calling in behaviors that we embody and encompass because we're actually being stirred up from the inside. All of these things are a response to something that happened to us in the past that we're now dealing with in the future, present. If you've been following me for a while, you know that we have already set up the argument we're going to have next week. We've done it already. I'm pretty sure you're ready for any argument coming in on Monday or Tuesday, because you had Friday night to get this Friday, and now Saturday and Sunday, and you are waiting. Number 4, call it the silent cleaning, the domestic bypass, right? We all know this one. Everybody who's listening has done this, all right? You're doing the dishes, you're vacuuming, you're sweeping, whatever it is that you're doing within the home, but you're doing it aggressively, and it's aggressively loud, and you're not saying a word. It's not in the usual flow. Let's say you have tra-la-la, le-le-le, it's ba-da-ba-ba-da-ba-da-da, but you're not saying a word. You're performing the straight line of fixing the mess. I'm gonna fix it. But what's actually happening is you're creating a tangle. And it's a tangle of resentment. And I said earlier, tangles are the conflicts that are the ones that we can get in and get out of, because we have to just follow the tangle right? But when we create tangles, we talk about the feelings that go with these shapes. Tangles of resentment stay stuck for a long time. Tangles of resentment are compressed energy, a la max. And what's happening in the domestic bypass is you're bypassing a conversation about roles. I do not like to do dishes. No, let me rephrase that. I will do the dishes, okay? I will stack the dishwasher. Now, I stack the dishwasher like a raccoon who's been up all night and it's just like, I'm like, the dishwasher's gonna wash dishes. I rinse them, I put them in there. I'm not Tetrising this. It's a dishwasher. My husband, he is the epic of all epicness. And this is not something he's ever said to me. I just have said because I have been dishwashing traumatized from young that, okay, you know what, honey, I don't like to do this. I never do it right. It's always, or I'm told I'm never doing it right. It's always a thing. It creates a samskara. I have a memory of something there that I am exploring. So dishes, who's aggressively loud? It's not me. I might aggressively vacuum for sure. However, I catch myself because we don't want to be in these tangles. Well, actually, no, rephrasing. We can be in the tangle. It's the emotional layer of whatever shape we're in that makes it more organic. And we're going to look at that in March. Anyway, now you know I don't like to do dishes and that my husband does the dishes. And I stack a dishwasher like a raccoon who's been out all night and doing a lot of things, making a lot of bad decisions. So we know that. And we also have now learned that Selena aggressively vacuums. And you're probably laughing because we're like, I didn't know that about her, but I can hear that in her voice. We're going to go to number 5. We do this in particular in Teams and Slack channels. We do this. It's the thumbs up emoji, right? Everybody's given a thumbs up emoji. It's what we call in the lab a digital bypass. Responding to a complex, emotional, or structural problem in the Teams chat, thumbs up. Okay. Now, I have seen this. I have looked at emojis and been like, okay, what is the one that I could give that actually says, I'm paying attention? I'm still holding the string of our conversation. We're going to talk about the string of our conversation in our next episode and what that is and how you can actually, it's a home experiment that you can actually do. Now, the thumbs up single emoji or the digital bypass, is the ultimate false exit. It signals, I saw this, and you know what? I'm refusing to engage in the energy of it. Thumbs up. It's the, if you like it, I love it. That's what that is. If you're a leader, a partner, a being, do you reward the straight line? Do you praise the person that says yes instantly? Or do you always have the patience for the curve? Now the curve is messy. The curve sounds like I'm not sure I agree with that. I don't actually know how I feel about that. Okay, let me sit with this. The curve destroys your efficiency metric that we are pre-programmed in 2026 to want to attain and acquire. You know what, folks? The curve is structural integrity. So how do we break the habit? How do we get out of these 5 things that we're doing? It's not going to happen overnight. You're not going to get up tomorrow and be like, oh, I listened to Selena and it's Monday and she was going off on like these 5 shapes of structural bypassing and I'm going to check off each one that I'm not doing today. No, you're going to make yourself insane, right? But I will tell you something. After each episode, I don't know if you're aware of this, I run what we call tiny experiments, right? And I do it on this platform called the Ness Labs. And for those of you, again, I'm not paid to talk about any of this stuff. I'm just sharing shit and things that I like and I have enjoyed and that have made me a better version of myself with y'all. Whoever's listening, whether you agree or don't agree. I'm running a tiny experiment this week on Ness Labs. And if you feel inclined, you can join me there on Ness Labs. If you're like, I don't want to be on another platform, power to you because I'm not on all of them. I choose very selectively what platforms I want to be on. But you can also join me at home. What we're doing this week is we're doing something called the bypass audit. And here's the protocol. For the next 48 hours, so it's Sunday, let's say Monday, Tuesday, I want you to catch yourself every time you say yes when you mean complicated. Every time you say, I'm fine, it's all right, when you mean I'm hurt, it's hurting me. When you say these phrases, or any version of what we brought up in the field guide, I want you to do what I call a somatic audit. What does it feel like in your body when you say yes and you don't want to? What does it feel like when you say I'm fine when you're 30 seconds from tears? I want you to notice tiny things in this tiny experiment. The tightening of your jaw, the furrow of your eyebrows, where your breath moves from the belly right up to the top of the chest underneath the clavicle. The immediate desire to look at your phone and doom scroll. That is Deversha. Remember, I'm talking about Kleshas, guys. We're exploring the elusiveness of our own happiness through things that we unconsciously do because we haven't been told what they are. Okay? Dervasha is called aversion. That's what this episode has been about. Aversion. How do we avoid the deeper truths, deeper realities, deeper journeys that we could be going on together, but aren't because we're pushing each other away in our quest to be efficient? Am I going to say something like efficiency is part of the patriarchy? I really want to. And all right. If you catch yourself drawing a false straight line, I challenge you, like I'm challenging myself, to add one curve. Instead of saying, I agree, try, I want to agree, but I have hesitation about X. Could you? And the could you is allowing your boundary to go down and maybe a bit of theirs to explain. Instead of to your partner, your friends, work, whomever, I'm fine, whatever. I'm still processing what you said. I'm still trying to break it down. And you can follow that with, I need some more time. May I sit with this? Simple and plain. That or those tiny curves are like steel. And you know what, guys? I'm a mom. Maybe you all know that. Maybe y'all don't know that. Maybe it's so far out of your reality that I could be a mom, but I am. And I caught myself doing these things with my son, with my 11-year-old son. And when I caught myself doing these things, I said, nah, we're going to throw some curves in here. It's uncomfortable, but it's real. And if you have tiny folks around you, this is how you teach them how to be the best version of themselves through your own example, through your own foibles. We all fuck up. See, I just cursed again. So we laid it down. We looked at all those structural bypassing we do. Well, not all of them, but I gave you the 5 so you can start to map the aversions, your avoidance, your devasha, as we continue our journey exploring the elusiveness of our own happiness because we get in the own way. Now, next week, we're going to zoom in to if the false straight line is the wall we build to hide the conflict, what are the bricks? What are the specific words we use to cement that wall? So when you come back, after absorbing all of this, embodying it, living it for a week or 2 or maybe 3, I would say live each episode for at least a cycle of the moon. 28 days. If you can live each episode for 28 days or a piece of it or retain a piece of it, so many things open up and change. So next we're going to talk about linguistic blockers. We're going to talk about the word but. Because, oh damn. We're going to talk about the phrase, let's be honest. Or, with all due respect. Those are tools of the false straight line and more. And so next week, I'm going to show you how we're going to take those tools because they're not working for us. And also, if they are working for you in the version of you that you are in right now, hey, yo, cool, that's okay. I'm just here to shine a bit of light and also maybe blow out a few candles. So we're going to look at that next week, folks. Until then, don't be efficient. Okay? Be real. Stay hydrated. Take care of yourself. Take care of each other. Stay anchored. I'm Selena. I'll see you back here next week. Thanks for listening.